Welcome to Storytime Sessions with Rosalina. There are so many thrilling stories just waiting to be discovered. Please get comfy and cozy as you listen to some exciting tales. These stories have been authored by our talented YouTube community. Special thanks to all our writers in this episode. Before we get started, I would like to give a shout out to our Shinin' Superstar channel member, Vincent. Thank you kindly for all your support. Now, are you comfy and cozy by the fireplace? Great! In that case, let us begin. This story was written by TP Rules. The title of the story is The Time Mark Met the Girls. The evening air was cool and crisp, carrying with it the scent of pine trees and late blooming flowers. A gentle breeze stirred the surface of the lake, causing ripples to shimmer under the light of the moon. Mark, clad in a navy hoodie and dark jeans, sat quietly on a bench overlooking the water. His smartwatch buzzed with occasional updates from Catherine, but tonight he wasn't on duty. It was September 2nd, a day that held special meaning. It was both his and his twin sister Corey's 21st birthday. Mark had opted for solitude that night, needing space to reflect. A rare moment of peace in a life filled with late-night missions, high-stake chases, and the unpredictable chaos of spy work. For once, the world didn't need saving. Or so he thought. His attention was drawn away from the lake when he noticed three young women strolling along the park's cobblestone path. They stood out, not just in beauty, but in energy. Each of them possessed a distinctive aura, one that immediately piqued his curiosity. The first wore a light pink jacket over a flowy white top and jeans, her blonde hair styled perfectly despite the breeze. She carried herself with elegance and calm confidence. The second wore an orange crop top and matching jacket, with sporty shorts, her brown hair tied back in a playful ponytail. She walked with a spring in her step, exuding energy and sass. The third wore a turquoise sweater dress paired with leggings, her silver blonde hair cascading gracefully down her back. She moved serenely, her expression thoughtful and composed. Mark couldn't help himself. He stood, and then approached them with a friendly but curious smile. "Evening," he greeted. "Not to be dramatic, but you three look like you're about to save the world." The girl in pink smiled with amusement. "We are actually just here for ice cream." "Saving the world one scoop at a time," the orange-clad one added with a smirk. The girl in teal simply nodded politely, her eyes quietly studying him. He chuckled. "Guess I read too much into it," then extended a hand. "I'm Mark." The one in pink shook his hand first. "Peach." "Daisy," said the one in orange, shooting him a thumbs up. "Rosalina," said the last one, her voice calm and melodic. It didn't take long before the group found themselves sitting in a nearby ice cream stand, under the warm glow of string lights. Their conversation was light and pleasant. Talk of music, hobbies, favorite desserts, and life in the city. Mark, for the first time in a while, felt like a normal young adult instead of a government-trained operative, but the tranquility was short-lived. A flash of bright green light erupted in the sky, followed by a strange static-like buzz echoing across the park. The girls immediately stood up, eyes sharp and alert. "We have to go," Peach said abruptly, already pulling something small and glowing from her pocket. Mark frowned. "Go? Why?" Before he could finish, the transformation happened. With a flourish of motion and light, the three girls activated their spy gear, sleek, high-tech jumpsuits appearing over their civilian clothing. Peach in soft pink, Daisy in vibrant orange, and Rosalina in shimmering turquoise, practically glowing with cosmic energy. Mark's mouth opened slightly in stunned surprise. "You're spies?" Daisy winked. "Surprised?" He quickly gathered himself, pressing a button on his own smartwatch. In a flash, his civilian attire vanished, replaced by his signature blue jumpsuit, complete with a lightning grappling hook strapped to his back. Rosalina's eyes widened slightly. She said nothing, but a faint blush dusted her cheeks. Peach tilted her head, examining him with intrigue. "Well, you wear it well." Just then, Mark's smartwatch beeped. Catherine's voice crackled through. "Unusual energy readings detected near Cheap Cheap Beach. Possible threat. Dispatching backup." Mark raised an eyebrow. "Backup? No need. Catherine, send the jet. We're on it." The girls exchanged glances, surprised. "You have your own jet?" Daisy asked. "Yeah," Mark replied, smirking. "It comes when I call." Not 5 seconds later, the sky parted and a sleek black jet descended from the clouds, landing smoothly on the park's helipad. The girls looked genuinely impressed. "I like him," Daisy whispered to Peach. Peach nodded, her expression unreadable. He might be more than just a pretty face. With no time to waste, the 4 of them boarded the jet, each of them thinking the same thing. This mission just got a whole lot more interesting. The black jet soared high above the clouds, slicing through the night sky with smooth, practiced ease. Inside the cabin, the hum of technology surrounded them. The soft blinking of control panels, the occasional beeps of sensors, and the quiet whoosh of the engine. The 4 spies sat strapped in, their eyes focused, yet full of unspoken questions. Mark leaned back slightly in his seat, arms folded, blue jumpsuit glinting under the soft overhead lighting. He had been observing the girls since takeoff, how Peach calmly monitored their trajectory, how Daisy fiddled with her gloves impatiently, and how Rosalina quietly gazed out the window, her fingers gently resting on the armrest. But the silence couldn't last forever, and Mark had questions. "All right," he said, breaking the quiet. "2 things have been bugging me since that park." All 3 turned to look at him. He continued, raising a brow. "1. How did you 3 become spies? Catherine never mentioned anything about another team. Not to me, not to Corey, not to James or Bluebell. And 2, he glanced between them. Why don't Mario, Luigi, or Waluigi know about this?" There was a pause. Peach sighed softly, resting her hand on her lap. "We've kept it quiet on purpose. It's not that we don't trust the boys. We just wanted to protect them." Daisy nodded in agreement, her voice more assertive. "Mario and Luigi are great, don't get us wrong. But we didn't want them worrying or trying to take over our missions. We can handle ourselves." Rosalina added gently, "The more people who know, the greater the risk. Secrets like these, they're fragile." Mark considered their words for a moment. He didn't respond right away. Instead, he stared out the windshield as the coast came into view in the distance, the beach glowing faintly under the moonlight. "I get it," he said at last. "You're trying to protect the people you care about. But secrets have a way of finding their way out, especially ones this big." The girls didn't argue, because deep down, they knew he was right. Peach looked away thoughtfully. Maybe one day we'll tell them, when the time's right." Mark glanced at her. "Fair enough. Just know that if the truth ever comes out, you won't be alone." A beat of silence passed, then Daisy grinned. "Look at you, being all noble and spy-like." He smirked. "Part of the job." Suddenly, the jet's radar lit up with a flashing red signal. Rosalina leaned forward. "We are nearing the coordinates. There's a strange energy signature directly on the shoreline." Peach narrowed her eyes. "Prepare for landing." The jet dipped gracefully, descending toward the dark sands of Cheap Cheap Beach. The water shimmered like black glass, the waves unnaturally still. A lone figure stood in the center of the beach, backlit by glowing orbs of violet energy. Mark immediately tensed. "Oh no!" Daisy blinked. "What? You know him?" Mark groaned. "Unfortunately." The man turned slowly, revealing a tall, bald figure in a crisp suit. He adjusted his glasses and offered an overly theatrical bow. Ah, fresh company. Peach's face immediately fell. Who is that? Mr. Dean, Mark said grimly. Certified creep, expert in delusion, and according to himself, a musical genius. At the mention of music, Dean grinned, and to their horror, began to hum what sounded like a painfully off-key ballad. Daisy cringed audibly. Rosalina blinked twice. But it was Peach who drew Dean's attention. His eyes lit up the moment he saw her. Ah, what heavenly vision is this? You, my dear, must be Peach. She blinked. How do you know my name? I've read everything, he replied with a flourish. You with your elegance, your grace, your divine aura. You must allow me to serenade you one day with my original piece, Ode to a Princess. Peach took a step back, visibly uncomfortable. Mark quickly stepped in, placing himself firmly between her and Dean. She's already taken, Mark said flatly, by Mario, who, by the way, has much better taste in music and hygiene. Dean's expression twisted slightly. And who might you be? Her friend, her teammate, and the guy who'll make sure you don't get within 3 feet of her again. Peach nodded gratefully, moving closer to Mark's side. Dean's smile faded as he took a small device from his coat pocket, its purple core pulsing with energy. Well then, let's skip the introductions and get to the transformation, shall we? Mark's fists clenched. You're the one turning people into rats, aren't you? Dean smiled again, this time more twisted. Why yes, I find rats to be misunderstood creatures. But soon, they shall rise, and Peach, you and I shall rule together, as king and queen of the rodent age. Daisy's mouth fell open. What is wrong with this guy? Rosalina narrowed her eyes. Everything. Peach whispered to Mark, we need a plan. He nodded. I've got one. Just buy us some time. Peach stepped forward, forcing a soft smile. All right, Mr. Dean. Maybe we can talk. Just you and me. Mark turned his head sharply. Wait, what? She glanced back at him briefly, her eyes calm and focused. Trust me. And then, to Dean's utter delight and Mark's absolute horror, Peach extended a hand. Would you care to take a walk by the sea? She asked sweetly. Mr. Dean gasped. I thought you'd never ask. As the villain eagerly offered his arm and the two began strolling along the beach, Mark muttered under his breath, this better be a really good plan. And deep in the shadows, the others quietly prepare, because the real game was only just beginning. The moon hung low over Cheep Cheep Beach, its silver glow casting long shadows across the sand. Waves lapped softly against the shore, as Peach walked arm in arm with Mr. Dean, feigning interest with the practiced grace of someone deeply regretting their life choices. Meanwhile, the real plan was unfolding behind them. Back at the jet, Rosalina tapped her cosmic Cosmo wand against the cage that had ensnared her, Daisy, and Mark earlier. It shimmered with a strange magical resistance, but Rosalina's focus never wavered. I just need another few seconds, she whispered, weaving the wand in a slow figure eight. Mark glanced at Peach from a distance, eyes narrowed. She better not let that freak get too comfortable. Daisy scoffed, fidgeting with her boxing gloves. He said he wanted to rule the Rat Kingdom. We're way past comfort zones. With a final flick, Rosalina's wand sparked, and the cage vanished in a flurry of stardust. We're out, she said calmly. Good, Mark said, standing tall. Let's go save the princess from a musical nightmare. Meanwhile, Peach and Mr. Dean sat on a large velvet blanket he had laid out on the sand. A bizarrely romantic picnic was spread before them. Cheese platters, an obvious rat-themed choice, sparkling juice, and a half-melted candle in a plastic holder. Peach, determined to sell the act, adjusted her posture and smiled sweetly. "This is charming." Dean beamed. "Oh, my dear Peach, you don't know how long I've dreamed of this moment. Just you, me, and a symphony of rodents beneath our feet." Peach blinked, then slowly reached for a wine glass. "Right! Very poetic." "To celebrate," he said proudly, "I've brought something special." He pulled out a small silver recorder. "Oh no," Peach muttered. "Oh yes," Dean replied, already lifting it to his lips. "This one's called Why You Should Marry Me and Not That Useless Mario." Just as the first horrifying note rang out across the beach, Rosalina, Daisy, and Mark burst from the trees. Peach immediately dropped the act. "Finally!" Dean froze. "What is the meaning of I was never into you?" Peach snapped, standing up and brushing the sand off her jumpsuit. "You're creepy, your singing is terrifying, and you smell like melted string cheese. I faked every word." Dean's face twisted. "You used me?" Daisy burst out laughing. She really said "bye, loser" in the most savage way possible. Mark, not missing a beat, readied his grappling hook. "You messed with the wrong people, Dean." Dean's eyes glowed with fury. "Then watch what happens when you betray the Rat King." With a dramatic spin, he held up his device. "Daisy, darling, let's make you the first of my rodent royalty." Before anyone could react, a blast of purple energy surged towards Daisy. She yelped as it hit her, and suddenly, poof, she was gone. In her place, a small squeaky orange rat, glaring daggers. "Oh no," Rosalina whispered. "He actually did it." Daisy squeaked something that was definitely not polite. Mark lunged forward, but Dean floated in the air on a swirling platform of violet clouds. "You thought this was just a performance?" he shouted. "This is a masterpiece. And Peach, my dear sweet Peach, if I cannot have you as my queen, I shall make you my pet." "You are disgusting," Peach said, stepping forward. With terrifying speed, Dean lunged downward from his floating platform, conjuring a magical barrier to trap her. But before it could close in, hi-ya! Peach, fueled by fury, landed a clean right hook to his jaw. He crumpled midair and crashed to the sand with a dramatic thud. Recorder flying from his hand and landing in the ocean with a sad little splash. Mark blinked. "Did she just—" "Knocked him cold," Rosalina confirmed. Peach brushed off her gloves. "I've had enough creepy speeches for one lifetime." As Dean lay unconscious, the device slipped from his grasp and fizzled out. Moments later, Daisy reappeared in her human form, arms crossed and thoroughly annoyed. "Well, that was not fun," she said. Mark rushed over to check on her. "You good?" She nodded. "Remind me to punch him next." Just then, a sleek black car skidded onto the beach and out stepped Catherine. Arms folded, eyes scanning the chaos. "Looks like I missed a party," she said dryly. "Just another day at the beach," Mark quipped, slinging his grappling hook back over his shoulder. Catherine approached, nodding approvingly. "You all did well, especially you, Mark." He grinned. "The girls are a solid team. Working with them was pretty awesome." Catherine glanced at Peach, Daisy, and Rosalina, who stood shoulder to shoulder, their hair windblown but proud. "I had a feeling you'd say that." Everyone turned to see Mr. Dean gone. Just a trail of tiny rat paw prints leading off into the trees. "Of course," Daisy muttered. "He scurried off." Peach sighed. "He'll be back. But next time, I'm wearing gloves with spikes." Catherine chuckled softly. "Let's get back to the academy. We have some team introductions to make." Later that evening, Mark sat at the clubhouse with the rest of the crew, the story now complete. He looked around at his friends, Corey, James, Bluebell, Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, Mario, Luigi, all smiling, laughing, safe. "So," Mark said, kicking back with a grin, What did you think? Mario clapped him on the back. We're just glad everyone's friends now. And I'm glad Peach is okay, Mark added with a wink. Peach smiled. Thank you for looking out for me. Always, he replied. The night was peaceful, but the adventure was far from over. The end.
That was so epic! I think me and the girls would do so great as spies. I really am so excited for our next adventure.
This next story is by YoshiFan267. The title of the story is The Three Super Princess Sisters. A pink princess named Peach, an orange princess named Daisy, and a teal blue princess named Rosalina. The end. This story was written by Henry. The title of the story is The Sinking of a Titan. It is April 10th, 1912, the golden age of the ocean liner. The White Star Line's brand new ocean liner, RMS Titanic, the largest and most luxurious ship in the world, is in the port of Southampton, ready to sail on her maiden voyage to New York. With her sisters, Olympic, and soon-to-be launched Britannic, White Star Line hoped to drive all competitors out of business. On board are 2,300 passengers and crew. In the ship's first class, there is a Turkish bath, a grand staircase, a gymnasium, and even third-class passengers receive unprecedented amenities, including 3 meals a day and working bathroom facilities, which, back then, were a luxury. The ship was built in Belfast, Ireland, with a steel frame covered in tens of thousands of steel plates, held together with millions of rivets. On the bridge is Captain Edward John Smith. He was one of the best ship captains, and this voyage was to be his last before retirement. The ship is scheduled to stop in Cherbourg, France, and Queenstown, Ireland, to pick up more passengers before heading to New York. It is April 14th, 1912. The voyage appears to be going very smoothly and on schedule. But at 11:40 p.m., lookouts Frederick Fleet and Reginald Lee spot a dark shape in the distance and realize it is an iceberg. Frederick rings the ship's warning bell and calls the bridge, yelling, "Iceberg right ahead!" First Officer William Murdoch tells the ship's helmsman to turn the ship hard to the left, but it is too late. The 46,000-ton ship strikes the iceberg with a glancing blow. It wasn't a huge hole that started the Titanic sinking, but a series of splits in the steel plating that let in enough water to overwhelm the ship. Titanic was built with a series of compartments to contain flooding, and was designed to stay afloat if the first 4 compartments flooded, or any 2 others. But the iceberg opened the first 6. Titanic was doomed. At 2:15 a.m., Titanic's power finally failed and the lights went out. By 2:20, Titanic was no more. A total of 1,496 men, women, and children passed away the night the Titanic sank, and 700 survivors were rescued by the Cunard liner RMS Carpathia. Thank you for this wonderful historical piece. This next story is by the Multiversal Alien. The title of the story is The Reason Why I Draw Pictures of Princess Peach with Purple Hair. In this story, I will explain why I draw pictures of Princess Peach with purple hair. It all started when I watched all the Peach scenes on Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. Princess Peach was talking to herself in a cage, and she mentioned something about dyeing her hair purple. Another source is that I attended a YouTuber's VTuber Peach livestream 3 years ago. After hearing the mentions, I thought to myself, how would Princess Peach look with purple hair? My hypothesis states that Princess Peach would look great with purple hair. I decided to take the time to draw a sketch of Princess Peach. Instead of drawing her hair yellow, I colored it purple. Her dress color still remains pink. I even took the time to go on a photo editing software called PixArt and changed Peach's hair color from yellow to purple. In conclusion, Princess Peach's purple hair complements her pink dress. She would look 10 times the beautiful princess she is, and dare I say, that I doubt anyone has seen before in movies or video games. The end. Oh, that was so sweet of you to say about my best friend Peach. And I totally agree. She would look awesome with purple hair. All right, our final story is by Carlos. The title of the story is The Mario Princesses and the Mayor at the Beach. Once upon a time, in the Mushroom Kingdom, Princess Peach decided to go on a vacation at Seaside Kingdom with Daisy, Rosalina, and Pauline. But before she goes with her good friends, she decided to ask them if they wanted to go or not. First, Princess Peach asked Daisy at Saraslan. "Sure thing! I love the beach!" said Daisy happily. So Daisy packed up her stuff. Next, Peach and Daisy went to the Comet Observatory and asked Rosalina if she wants to go too. "Of course! The Lumas would love to go too," she said. So Rosalina packed up her stuff. Lastly, the princesses went to New Donk City and asked Pauline if she wants to go as well. "All right, I'm coming too." So Pauline packed up her stuff, and they all went to Mario's Odyssey and flew to their destination. Once they got there, the girls all dressed up in their swimsuits, and they're ready to go. All of a sudden, a giant enemy named Moleskalancier came out of nowhere. "Uh-oh! The people in Bubblaine are in trouble," said Rosalina. They all got their own water blasters and squirt water at the enemy's head. Then, Moleskalancier was inflating like a balloon and suddenly exploded as he was defeated. As the Mario girls clapped and cheered. "We did it, everyone!" said Pauline. "Group high five!" shouted Peach, and they all did a group high five. "Let's play volleyball," said Daisy. "Sure thing," they replied. All the Lumas watched them play. And so, the Mario girls are having a blast at Seaside Kingdom, swimming at a nice clear shimmering water as they cooled down while playing with Peach's beach ball. "This is relaxing," said Peach. "It sure is," replied Pauline. Rosalina brought a cooler, and they all got ice cream to enjoy their day. And she even gave the rest of the ice cream to the Lumas. "Best day ever," said Peach. And they all laughed during a hot summer day. The end. Oh, this was such a wholesome story. Oh. I honestly will never forget that day. It was a little scary at first, but we all worked together to take down Moleskalancier. All right, my dear friends. Thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of Rosalina's Storytime Sessions. Stay tuned for more stories coming soon. And thank you so much to the wonderful authors featured in this episode. If you'd like more stories like this, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I shall be back. And as always, may the stars shine down on you.